hearing this?
Anybody hear that?
How can we possibly have the slightest idea what to expect?
Well, we're back.
Hold on to your butts.
Welcome to the Jurassic Park Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Jost, and we're usually here to discuss all things Jurassic, but not today. We're switching things up a little bit and discussing the Monsterverse television show, Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. In episode 429, Tom Jurassic is back once again as we dive into the trailer for Monarch: Legacy of Monsters Season 2. Now, if you missed it, we did a bunch of coverage on Season 1 here on the podcast. We covered each and every episode of the show and broke them down right after the episodes aired. So I hope you enjoyed those episodes because we're going to be doing that again this season with Season 2, which comes out this February 2026. So keep your eyes peeled on the feed for all kinds of Godzilla, Kong, Monsterverse content coming very, very soon. And I'm very excited because I loved Season 1 of the show. I've loved all of the movies so far. You know, there's some that I love more than others, but I think I've had a great time watching them all. And I think that this series is like such a good example of what Jurassic could do in live action form. So we always dive into those topics as well during these episodes. But in this episode, we break down that trailer. I get my first reaction because I had not watched it up until this recording. So you get to hear my first reaction to the trailer. Plus, Tom literally takes you all to school and gives you the entire history of everything that's in that trailer and everything that they could be doing this season. It's great, and Tom always puts on like a masterclass when it comes to the Monsterverse content. So please enjoy this episode. It's coming up soon. But first, I did want to say thank you to everybody for tuning into our Jurassic World Chaos Theory Season 4 content. We had some great numbers across YouTube and the podcast feed and everywhere else. So thank you so much for listening to it. But now you need to do some legwork again here and let us know what you think about Season 4 and honestly just the entire legacy of those two shows. We're going to put together a big episode and we want to hear directly from all of you out there. So please go ahead and call our voicemail line. That number is 732-825-7763. Just go ahead and leave like a short 3-minute voicemail there. Or you can go ahead and pick up your phone, hit record on your phone, send us a voice memo to JurassicParkPod@gmail.com, and we'll go ahead and add those in as well. If you do want to write something, you can do that too, and I'll read it on the episode. But I wanted to put together like a big thing to showcase everybody's thoughts and feelings on that final season, on where everything landed and finished up, and just how we're all feeling at the end of that 2-part saga there with Camp Cretaceous and Chaos Theory. I think it was pretty special. And I just wanted to put out something that the creators could listen to and just hear what people are thinking, but also for all of us to kind of reminisce and just sit in that nostalgia for just a little bit longer. So again, hit us up on the voicemail line or send us the email with those voice memos, and we will add you to that big episode coming up sometime soon. But you know the drill, so of course, while you're listening to this episode, hit us up on Blue Sky to continue the conversation. And as always, you can please check out our live streams over on YouTube discussing all of the latest Jurassic news from around the world, Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. EST. Also, be sure to subscribe to my newsletter for all things Jurassic, movies, TV shows, my other podcasts and thoughts and appearances. Find the link to the newsletter on JurassicParkPodcast.com/newsletter. But let's go ahead and get things kicked off with another round of content within the Monsterverse saga. Let's go ahead and take a listen to our episode on the trailer for Monarch: Legacy of Monsters Season 2. All right, man, so we are back to once again talk about Monarch: Legacy of Monsters.
Yes.
The Apple TV Plus, whatever we're calling it these days, television show.
Yeah.
And the Season 2, there's been like some announcements and things. The teaser came out. I have not seen it yet. I think you've seen it, and you were like, dude, we got to start talking about this again.
Yeah.
Lots of friends have been texting me about the show, and I think people are hyped again. Hopefully Season 2 does well. I'm really excited for it because this franchise is awesome to me. Like, I know it's like it's had its ups and downs a little bit here and there, but this show was so fun to cover with you last time around, Tom. And I'm excited to cover season 2. We got to do it again. You know, there's going to be some lulls, I think.
I'm so excited.
So yeah, how excited are you? Tell us about it.
And I am so. I mean, when you said we're recording, I was literally going to do my rendition of the theme tune. That is how excited I am. I think it's gonna. I feel like there's. Well, we'll get into it. I have some thoughts on how I feel like this season could really capture the unraveling story of season 1 again in a new way.
Yeah, season 1 was special just because like. We've never gotten a TV show in this universe before, and, you know, we've been clamoring for a Jurassic live-action TV show, and we're like, how did they beat us to the punch? Like, we talked about that so many times, and they did it so well in this storytelling that spanned, like, generations, and it really told, like, a solid story, I think, and a really fun, intricate story, some fun characters, some really cool people, so I'm excited to see what season 2 has to offer. I honestly have no idea, and I'm kind of fuzzy. I have to revisit season 1 a little bit to see where things left off. But I know there was some drama that went down, so I'm excited to see how things pay off in this teaser. But you want to go ahead and hit play with me because I've never watched it before. This will be a live reaction, I guess here. So
yeah. Okay. Right. Oh, sweet. Okay. Press play when you're ready.
Let's see, making sure the sound is going to play through. Okay, let's hit play.
Attention surfers, the beach is closed. This is
Uh-oh.
a high alert Titan area.
What the hell's that sound?
Oh, it's so soon, too. Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Dude. Oh, man. Streaming February 27th, Apple TV.
Can
There
we
we
just
go, dude.
appreciate that was Godzilla's roar right at the end as well?
Dude, that trailer looked phenomenal. I mean, these monsters always look so good. So to see, like, I forget where it was, but there was that, like, close-up of Godzilla, dude. That was the one that got me freaking.
Yeah,
This
I
right here-
screenshotted it and posted it the other day. Yeah.
This is, like this goes back to
This
my
is the movie.
childhood. Wait, what? This is... What do you mean the movie? It looks
No,
like the movie?
not as in it's from the movie, but as in, so I posted about this. One of the things that Kong Skull Island does so well is when they have the air cavalry coming in.
Yes.
They have loads of shots that are from the perspective of pilots or gunners in the vehicle, so you get the sense of scale of Kong, and it's so cool seeing that here because just that decision to show that shot makes it feel so consistent with the films.
Yeah, and it brings me back to my childhood when I would I would go on that Universal Florida ride, Confrontation, which I'm so mad that they don't have anymore. It was an incredible ride, but it gets you to that perspective of being in a vehicle, or even in California with the tram tour and stuff like that, to get you in that vehicle to be in the perspective of, oh, I'm about to get eaten by Kong. It's so primal, and just like I had nightmares about that ride, Confrontation. It's been long gone for a while, and it's been replaced with a different Kong ride, which is not as scary, but this looks horrifying. Plus, he looks like he just ate some stuff. Like, he's got bloody teeth, it looks like.
Yeah.
Unless so would this take place?
So I can tell you.
Is this going to
I can
tell us
talk you
why?
through what's happening?
Is this going to tell us why he needs to get his tooth fixed? Is this the prequel to
that
him
would be a
fixing his
funny
tooth?
connection. So let me bring up the Apple TV version of the trailer so I can give you the exact time codes. So
Okay.
let's talk through the trailer a
Sure.
little bit. So if you go to, firstly, if you get the frame at 0.26.
All right, 0.
Okay, so you
That's
can
this one.
see.
There's nothing.
Wait, how have you? Go back a little bit on 0.26.
How about like around here?
Yeah, yeah, there we go. So that's perfect. So you can see there's a bunch of people running, there's flaming wreckage, etc.
And there was
If
is
you
there
then
water
go
splashing in the
to-
background, right? I think that's what that was.
I think it's debris.
Oh, okay.
So if you go, I need to work out where this
yeah,
shot
it's
is.
hard to.
So that's that bit. So
Okay.
yeah, perfect. We've then got the frame of the characters,
Mm-hmm.
and then the last bit you want to go to.
We got their dad
is-
there still, right? And
Yeah.
what's her name from that got stuck in the Upside Down? What's it called in this show?
Yeah. In the Axis Mundi.
Axis Mundi. That's
if
the word I was looking for.
Go to 0.30. Keep going forward. Yeah. Oh, back.
Our time codes are not
There
exactly
we go.
on.
There we go. So this, somewhere in this shot, you basically see the pod that they came back in sat next to a bunch of ruins and debris. So what I think is happening here across these 3 clips is obviously where we ended. It was nighttime at the Monarch and Apex facility on Kong Skull Island. And the kids were being taken inside because the alarms were going off and there was the announcement that Kong was inbound. So then those 2 shots were people running. I think he's destroyed that hangar because obviously we see a helicopter. This is from the perspective of the cockpit of a helicopter. And we know that the helicopter that was in that hangar ends up crashed because in one of the promo shots, I think you see like the red tail of that helicopter sticking out the rubble of a building. So what I think has happened here is he has attacked the hangar that they've retreated into, and then they're being set loose on Skull Island. So a lot, obviously at the end of the season, we have this massive Apex facility. We have a lot of soldiers, feels fairly safe. I think this is immediately taking away the safety of Skull Island, and it's saying to us, okay, this is now all being destroyed, and these characters are just left in the rubble to work out what Kong has done. Now, the interesting detail here is obviously Lee's return, because I assume this shot you've paused on with the shockwave is Lee coming back. So I would imagine this is later in the season when they're still stranded on Skull Island, and they figured out a way to go back and get Lee. So there's a whole thing there of how do they get to that point? How do they work out he's still alive, etc. But yeah. But
Dude,
I'm so
hyped that he's back. That's great.
Me
Kurt
too.
Russell's awesome.
Me too,
The
dude.
character is great. I can't wait to see what happens with him.
So there's more interesting details, and ironically, I genuinely, Brad, have done more preparation for this than I have for the next show we're about to record.
Well, don't worry, I've got that prep in the bag, so we're good there.
So there's a few details here, which is firstly, there's obviously the shot of Lee in the past again, so we get the confirmation that Wyatt Russell's back. And that also potentially looks like it could be Skull Island. So people have been speculating on whether we're going to see that Lee actually had something to do with this island at some point. Maybe he ended up here when he was trying to get home the first time, but he then went back into the Axis Mundi for whatever reason. So there's something interesting there. And I've seen people saying how cool would it be if Lee actually crossed over with Comrade, which is Tom Hiddleston's character, and that kind of stuff. So it could be...
Stop.
There's a lot of interesting stuff that they could do on Skull Island. But the bigger portion of this, so there's 2 things to talk about. The first thing is that this is a direct reference to Monarch Outpost 33. So the promo version that they released before the full trailer with the surfboards and just the clip of the attack on the beach says that is civilian footage captured approximately 4,800 miles off the coast of Outpost 33. And Outpost 33 is the Skull Island facility. So I wonder if part of this story is going to be showing us that the megafauna that's on Skull Island is beginning to move off of the island and into the surrounding areas. 4,800 miles is a very long way to travel, but they're crab-like creatures, so it's entirely possible. And that could be an interesting thing if that's part of the story they're going to tell here, is ironically doing migration patterns properly, unlike some other franchises. So there's the potential for that to be very interesting. The thing I think is quite cool as well is Outpost 33, when you look at it, is the outpost where the characters in Godzilla versus Kong get through the portal to the Hollow Earth. So it's interesting that they're tying it back into that, because obviously this is before the events of that, but we are very much in that kind of area, in that kind of facility. So there's that connection. And the other connection to be made here, and this is something that I haven't watched, so I'm probably going to go away and watch it, is there's a very good chance that the Kraken type creature we see at the end of the trailer is Titanoserpens marinus, which is the Kraken as it appears in the Kong Skull Island animated show on Netflix. So there's a good chance that one of the Titans from the Netflix show is making the jump into the live action, and that is actually the main antagonist of the first season of the animated series Skull Island. So again, like I say, I've not seen that, but it's cool to see that that Titan is potentially crossing paths here. Interestingly, it does reference in the Netflix show that the Titan is eventually killed. So canonically, this would be taking place before the events of that show. But it's just... Or there's more than one, you know? It could be that it's part of megafauna as opposed to a Titan. And that's the thing I think is really exciting with them going down the route of Skull Island, is it doesn't just have to be Titans. Like, Titans will be a part of this show, but obviously Skull Island is where a lot of the megafauna, like the creature we saw in Axis Mundi in Season 1, actually exists on the surface of the Earth as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at the poster now. I do see like the Kraken's like tentacles and things all over the poster. That's cool.
Yeah.
Apparently the TV show, the animated show, takes place in the 90s. So that's a time period that I'm familiar with, at least. I don't know about you, but a group of explorers venture out to sea to rescue a young girl stranded in the middle of the ocean. In doing so, they find themselves shipwrecked on the perilous Skull Island. So that sounds pretty cool. And I've always wanted to check that one out, so it might be time. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to say like, oh, it didn't actually die. It's just still alive here. I am very excited by the prospect. The prospect of sticking around Skull Island and having a lot of this season take place there. I do think the season 1 was like very like world jumpy. It like went all over the place. You know, it traveled San Francisco to everywhere around the world. There was deserts and snow and cities, and so it was a lot of really cool locations. So yeah, I wonder how they'll treat that here. Like if we will get to see a lot of these different locations and yeah, but I'm excited to see where that goes. I think I was excited to see Lee in the past because of that time jumpy part of the story. So I love seeing them in the past and then seeing how that correlates to the future and the current timelines or wherever in between. So I'm excited by that. Very, very excited to see that. Oh, dude, that is just so cool.
So it's such a good shot, isn't it? There's another interesting thing to talk about, which is Kaiju News Outlet, and I'm looking at the post from Mr. Goji on Twitter currently, based on this. So what they did this time around is they actually sent some content out to creators ahead of time to promote the fact that the trailer was coming. And so one of the things that was sent out was a Monarch official statement that was signed off by Natalia Verdugo. So we know that Verdugo is going to be coming back in season 2, who's the Monarch deputy director. And it said, at 04:17 hours local time, unusual sonar readings off the coast of Outpost 33 registered multiple subsurface tremors consistent with large-scale aquatic mutos. Civilian footage recorded from blank news outlet confirms potential dangerous subspecies activity on nearby South Pacific islands, with seismic anomalies moving towards Outpost 33's perimeter. So that's something is converging on Skull Island, basically. Potentially Godzilla, but in theory their meeting doesn't happen for the first time until Godzilla versus Kong, so it's likely to be something else. It could be the Kraken, it could be something else. But interestingly, what Mr. Goji has pointed out, which is why I've referenced it, is this connects directly to the credit sequence from Godzilla King of the Monsters, because in Godzilla King of the Monsters we get a bunch of news titles that show how Titans are adapting to the world, and there's two that directly connect to this. One which says new Titans drawn to Skull Island, home of Kong seems to be epicenter of Titan sightings, and another which says seismic disturbances reported on Skull Island. Island's ability to foster enormous wildlife, including Kong, has researchers baffled. So it genuinely looks like the writers of this season have gone back into those news stories and thought, how can we expand these?
That's awesome. Yeah, I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Any way to connect those dots and make all those little pieces that we see in the intros of the movies or the outros or wherever, that's exciting. I think having like a show on the water for a lot of it is pretty cool. I mean, they can learn something from Godzilla -1 there. You know, there was a lot of really great water sequences. Or there's another movie that came out. What was it? It was Jurassic World Rebirth. That's right. There was a good
quite
water.
forgettable.
Some water sequences in that movie as well. So I think if they do something like that, that would be fantastic. That would be really cool. What else was I going to say? I forget where I was going, but there was a bunch of timeline stuff that I was curious about, because the show mostly takes place like in 2015, I think, right? But it does jump ahead. Do you remember what year it like jumps to? Did it jump? It jumped like a few years or something, didn't it?
A lot of people, it seems like people are saying it ended before King of the Monsters, and King of the Monsters is 2019.
Okay. Yeah. And then
I reckon we might be 2017, 2018.
So at some point for Godzilla versus Kong, right, that's where there's a massive storm around Skull Island, right? So I wonder if they're going to plant some seeds as far as what's going on there and why that is like a lingering storm that like they have to enclose the island in to some extent with
that would be really cool.
That'd be cool
I
to
would
see.
love that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of groundwork to be laid, I think.
I'm like a little infrastructure nerd, and I would absolutely love if we got to see like the massive dome that they keep Kong in being built as a part of this season. I think that would be so cool. But also, this is the time to get Serizawa and Graham back for a cameo. They don't need to be in the whole season, but just get them to appear as a cameo, because we know they're like all over the place at this point. And what like in a dream world, I don't know if they'll do it because obviously budget, etc. But I would love to see us get to the point where stuff like the USS Argo comes back into the story and we see them using the Argo for part of the mission and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Dude, there's so many things that are very exciting to tie into. I mean, you mentioned Tom Hiddleston before, and like, while I don't think that'll happen, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. He does do TV, so that's possible. And I think, I don't know, his budget, I don't know what his paycheck's going to be versus like Kurt Russell, but like, I think get him in there, do some stuff in the past, have Brie Larson come back, like, you know, it would be pretty awesome.
Or even if it's not them, like I was gonna say, if it's not them, have like one of their kids appear or something.
You could do that, I guess, you know, if you want to. I mean, that's how this all started, right? So, I think tying it into like events, this is always what gets me excited about any television show or movie, and it purely stems from Back to the Future 2. That is I think those two movies, Back to the Future 1 and Back to the Future 2, especially 2, have really formed my entire like thought process when it comes to movies. Like it's everything I want from a movie and a TV show or whatever, because in Back to the Future 2, they go back and revisit parts of the first movie from a different perspective. And to me, that is so exceptional. And to do that maybe here, they've kind of did that a little bit with season 1 in different aspects, right? We, saw a lot of the Godzilla attack on San Francisco and stuff. And then we get to visit a lot of those key plot points there. But to get to like to Skull Island, like, and actually revisit some of those parts from that movie would be so awesome. And like if
I feel
Lee
like
is
we
there
could see
somewhere
it
in the
from Lee's
past,
perspective.
if Lee's there, he can see some stuff going down. I don't know, like just it would be fantastic to see. I don't know how they can do it, but there's absolutely ways to do it. So that's what I want.
The one thing I think they would struggle with, maybe, with doing that is he doesn't know that Randa's dead when he comes back. And that's something that... Oh, no,
he's not.
He does. That's Pico that doesn't know, isn't it? So actually, they could easily show him learning that he's died at that point. Because remember that Bill dies on Skull Island?
Yeah.
So that could easily be where he finds out what happened to Bill if he sees it from another angle.
So, yeah, he doesn't know in the future. I forget.
That's what I'm not sure of. I thought maybe he didn't, but I think he does. I think it's Keiko who doesn't know.
Yeah, she's got to be the one who doesn't know. But yeah, dude.
Yeah, she is,
oh my
because there's
God.
the emotional moment where he tells her.
If you get like John Goodman, like to do like a little cameo of his, like, because his death in that movie was so like just kind of like out there,
It's
just like
brutal.
happened really quick and everything, I kind of want some more time with that. I think that would be pretty great to have like some further insight into that moment, and to have Lee have a moment with him, with a version of the guy that he didn't know. I think would be pretty cool. Or maybe he knew him. I don't.
There's a lot
I
of
don't
cool
know.
stuff.
So there's too much timeline stuff. I'm like so flustered as far as like who knew when. I don't know.
Who knew what when? Yeah, I do. I
rundown.
genuinely think that might be how they do the story this time around. Though, is they reveal to us that actually Lee did make it back at one point, but the place he made it back to was Skull Island, so he then had to go back into the Axis Mundi because there was no way to escape. I could genuinely see them doing that, and I think it would work quite well. I think the other thing that I really want to see them do is, obviously in the background of this, we've got Apex, who are the villains in Godzilla vs. Kong, but we know that they're connected to previous villains. So I recently rewatched King of the Monsters just because it's a absolutely gorgeous cinematic film. Like the shots in that are like no other film.
It's so good.
The shot with Ghidorah on the mountain and the cross just lives rent-free in my mind.
Dude.
But at the end of that film, we see Alan Jonah acquire the remaining Ghidorah head that's then used for Mechagodzilla by Apex, but we never see how they are connected. So how Jonah sells that to them, the connection between his organization, which is like the eco-terrorist organization, and the connection between Apex. So it would be really cool if they could get Charles Dance back in some kind of capacity just to tie those dots together a little bit more.
Dude, I mean, like this is like, we gotta stop, man, because everything we're saying is like perfect and exactly what I want them to do. I'm gonna get a little too giddy about how awesome this season could be. Try to taper my expectations a little bit, so it's just gonna be a fine season. I'm sure it's just gonna be okay. Like nobody's gonna cross over. They're not going to do any of the timeline stuff I want them to do. But I just had this thought, speaking of Back to the Future, what if Lee meets Lee? Is that possible? Like he jumps to the current time, like and so like you've got young Lee, old Lee together, like at the end of this season or something. Like that would be kind of crazy. And it possible? I don't know, but maybe
it would.
I have to
don't
send you
think
back,
it's
or else
possible.
this is not going to work. Why is it not possible?
I don't, because he can come out at a certain point of time, but once he comes back in, time keeps going. So it's not like, the best way I can explain it to you is it's not like Doctor Who where there's static points that he can tap into. This is an ongoing thing. So time is still passing all of the time. He's never out of time. So he basically can't fast forward on himself without aging. You with me?
Yes, I got you. But let's just make that work anyway. I got you, but I don't want... I want a different wormhole. There's like another one that we don't know about.
There's another layer between the Earth and the Hollow Earth.
Yeah, you don't know about it yet, but guess what, guys? Season 2, it's there. That's the secret. Spoiled it, sorry.
It's called Maxis Undy.
Anything else that you can, talk about here? Do you have any other insight or no?
That is everything. I'm just so hyped that we're getting a season 2, man. And do you know what I will say as well? I think it's really cool that they've started doing toys based on the show as well. So they, in the most recent Playmates assortment, they have done a figure of the Frostvark, which is very cool, and I might end up buying it.
Have I seen that?
Yes, it's been sent in our chat before, I think.
Okay. Yeah, stuff goes through there so fast, I have no idea. But that's pretty awesome. That's fantastic that they're getting toys out there for... Oops, I turned it onto the wrong screen there for a second. Spoilers for our other conversation. We're talking Jurassic World Chaos Theory. But yeah, I'm excited by this show. I think it looks awesome, as always. I'm excited to get more Kong in this season. Kong, I always debate, like, who do I like more, like Godzilla or Kong? Kong is just so cool. I love Kong, so very excited to see more there.
Brad, I'm going to blow your mind here. I'm going to blow your mind. You don't have to pick.
I know I don't have to, but like my mind wants to, and I love them both so much. But yeah, whatever. I'm excited though.
Tell
I'm
your
excited.
mind no.
It's not possible. I can't tell my mind anything. Don't try. But yeah, man, thanks for talking about this with me for a little bit. I know it was, a shorter episode there, but we wanted to talk about this ahead of the season. So expect February, what was it, 27th?
Apple, if you're listening, let's do some things, please.
Let's do some things because we got a lot to talk about on February 27th, streaming the new season. So we'll be diving into that. I have no idea what the plan is around that time otherwise for other episodes or anything, but I'm excited to stream about this from week to week. I don't know how many episodes. Do you know how many episodes this is going to be?
I have no idea. I'd assume a similar amount to last time.
What was it last time? 10? It looks like it was 10 episodes. So
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and typically they'll do like, a few at a time or something like that, the first few. So it might not be like 10 weeks, but I'm looking forward to whatever it ends up being.
It says 20 episodes on IMDb, so I'm assuming they got commissioned for another 10. Yeah,
IMDb,
they did.
Always accurate. Can't wait.
They've updated it with all release dates as well. It starts Friday, February 27th and runs through to Friday, May 1st.
Okay, wait, what? Say that again?
Yeah. So it starts Friday, February 27th, and there's an episode every week until Friday,
until
May 1st.
May? Oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic, dude. I can't wait. That's going to be a nice period of time.
So if you guys
this.
enjoy Jurassic Park content, just don't listen to the show between February and May, basically.
There's nothing else to talk about. Like, I mean, what do we, there's a video game maybe coming at some point where, we've gotten through Evolution. We're getting through Chaos Theory. We've got, I guess there's a new movie on the horizon, with the same everybody back. Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, I'm excited. Tom, anything to promote, anything to talk about?
No, that's everything. Just if you are listening to this, please check out Jurassic Collectibles because I am reviewing the next wave of small Hammond collection figures very soon. So that is the Dryosaurus, the Ornitholestes, and another dinosaur I can't remember, the Mosasaurus. There we go.
Doesn't matter. So your videos do matter, but those figures, I'm like, I don't care about any of these. But thanks for
And
all
they're
the hard
some of
work
the
that
best
you do.
Hammond Collection figures released to date, and everybody should buy them.
What? Are you in their pocket? What's going on here, man?
Just use affiliate code Tom_Jurassic. I wish.
Anyway.
I wish.
Tune back in if you want more Godzilla, Kong, Monarch content on February 27th or around about there.
Life will not be contained. Life breaks free, it expands to new territories, and it crashes through barriers painfully, maybe even dangerously, but, well, there it is.
There it is.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
That'll do it for another episode of the Jurassic Park Podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you for listening and sharing in our love of not just the Jurassic franchise, but things like the Monsterverse and Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Like I said earlier, I love the first season so much. I thought the movies are awesome, and I think that this show is such a great template for Jurassic to bridge the gap between what they're doing in the films, what they did in the past, what they're doing in the present and the future. I think they've really found like a great spot here. And with this franchise, there is that opportunity to kind of jump back and forth a little bit easier. But I think there is an opportunity for Jurassic to do something very, very similar in live action. And it never seems like they're going to go that route, but the template is there. And if you're longing for that kind of content, go catch up with the Monsterverse and then tune into Monarch Season 1 and then Season 2 coming out this February. I'm very excited for it, so please tune into all of our coverage on Season 2. And a huge thank you to Tom for being so prepared to talk about the Monsterverse every time I ask him to. He's always got all of the notes. He knows all of the connections and the dots and stuff that like that. You know, he's the guy. He's the Charlie Day meme with the board with the threads and the pins. So that's the kind of guy we need when it comes to Monsterverse content. So thank you, Tom, for doing things right. And we did record this, I believe, before our Chaos Theory Season 4 spoiler episode. So we meant to, we wanted to come out with this episode a few weeks back, but with all of the Chaos Theory content, we just didn't want to trample over ourselves there. So thank you for being patient and enjoying this a few weeks after the trailer came out. We really appreciate it. And to also show our appreciation to you, we're going to go over to Apple Podcasts and read a review that was left over there. And like I always say, if you go ahead and leave a 5-star review or any amount of stars, we love the 5. But like if you don't feel it's worth that, go ahead, let us know. But if you write a comment in there, we will read it here on the show. This one comes from Jurassic Joey 17. I don't remember if I read this one or not, but it felt like it was just a great place to put this one. And the subject here for the review is Tom is great. Another 5-star review. And it says, Tom is such a great breath of fresh air whenever he's on. I love listening to you guys. Thank you, Jurassic Joey. Yeah, I agree. Tom is great. He's always super professional. He handles himself very well. He's knowledgeable on so many different topics, and he's a good friend and somebody I love to podcast with. So we always joke about like him not being on many episodes, but then he's on like a bunch in a row. So it's funny, but I appreciate him being on the show each and every time he can be, and he is so knowledgeable, and he is absolutely a breath of fresh air. So thank you to Tom, as always, for being a wonderful part of this show. But if you want your review read on the show, or if I haven't read your review, let me know. I used to keep track of each one that I read, and then I started getting a little distracted, and I didn't write them all down, so now I'm kind of lost. But I'm still going back and trying to read as many as I can. We've got 371 ratings over on Apple Podcasts, 4.8 out of 5. Look, I understand it's not everybody's cup of tea, but 4.8 out of 5 is pretty good, and I'm happy with that. So thank you to each and every person who's ever left a review over on Apple Podcasts. And if you do, you can do so over on Spotify as well. There's no written reviews that I know of, but you can leave a 5-star, and you can comment on every episode. That's over on Spotify. I respond back to those whenever I can, so please do that as well. But as always, a huge thank you to our podcast host, Podomatic, for giving us a place to upload the podcast each and every week. Everybody out there, please just know that you matter. stay safe. More importantly, be kind. You know, that's the thing. We've kind of lost that, I think, as a society these days. Be kind to people out there. Fight for representation, change, and equality in the Jurassic franchise, but outside of it, also in the real world, where things matter. It's especially needed these days. Let's be sure to make this world a better place. I'm going to go ahead and hand things off to myself for the outro. Take it away.
Saddle up, let's get this movable feast underway.
Continue the conversation with us on Threads and Instagram. Watch our content on TikTok and YouTube. Find us on the web at JurassicParkPodcast.com. You'll find today's episode show notes, articles, contributor bios, and so much more. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, our website, and wherever else podcasts are found. So please be sure to follow along and share with your friends, family, and fellow Jurassic fans. If you haven't already, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We will read your Apple reviews at the end of most episodes, so be sure to spare no expense. Don't miss our Wednesday night live streams, toy hunts, reviews, in-depth bonus content, gameplay, event and theme park coverage on our YouTube channel. If you want to get a hold of us or participate in the Jurassic Mailbag, you can fill out the contact form on our website or send emails and MP3s to JurassicParkPod@gmail.com. Feel free to call our voicemail line at any time to leave us a message or just to say hi. That number is 732-825-7763. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, enjoy. There it is, the theme. Or as you call it, the theme tune. Heck yeah.